This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
What's going on? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster. And this is Viewers Anonymous, man. How you feeling today?
Man, feeling good, man. You know what I'm saying? Listen to a few pods today, man. Got some stuff in the works. You know what I'm saying? About to do this next 15 minutes of fame. Got an exciting episode coming up. Can't wait to record tomorrow. I think the people are really going to enjoy this one. It's not going to be the usual 15 minutes of fame. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be
I'm laughing because I know people.
Yeah. I want to make it as informative as possible, you know what I'm saying? Because I think that the content that's going to be covered is very perceived as, you know what I'm saying? It has a very negative perception. I think that's a better way to put it. So I want to do my best to, you know, try to put a better spotlight on it from, you know what I'm saying, compared to how, you know what I'm saying, it's commonly looked at. And I think that, you know what I'm saying, the work I'm about to put in is definitely going to do some justice.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure you got it, man. You know what I'm saying? I took a lot of my interviewing skills from you because I don't have a lot of experience at it. Even though I've been doing podcasts, you know, for 4 years, like a lot of the times, like it's just been me and and then a few people from here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then I always try to do it like a conversation anyway. So it's never like the situation where it's like I got these. Even when I had the podcast with Willie, like I had questions, but at the same time, you know, I tried to make it as conversational as possible, so it didn't come off like an interview.
Right.
And like that's and like I say, I always got that. Like when I listen to podcasts, like, you know, I like the way you do your stuff, but you know, I always and I respect Rogan, but I always go back to this, man. I always go back. Reggie say, man, Combat Jack. Like
Combat Jack, like, baby. Rest in peace.
I felt like, yes, sir. Like I feel like he had that formula, man. It was just something different about him. And I just said, man, you know, this is a great person to try to model myself after as far as when I'm doing a podcast with people that's not my co-host. Like I was telling you when I texted you today, I was just like, because you text me about the in the podcast, and I just told you that. Damn, what did I tell you? I done lost my whole train of thought there.
What about E? Or about the podcast with E?
Yeah, and I was telling you, I said, when it comes to you, I'm more comfortable with you. I said, because like I'm getting more comfortable with doing podcasts with people that I don't normally do podcasts with. But like me and you've been working together for so long, it's just like shit. This ain't nothing what we do. But like when you're doing it with somebody else, it's just it's a different feel. You know what I'm saying? It's a different type of pressure. Now with E, it wasn't really like that much pressure because he's a podcaster. He gets it. Right. He knows the whole flow of the shit. So he knows how to just do it a little different from people who don't normally do podcasts. So that thing, it went like a breeze. And even a guy like Willie, like it seems like he's been interviewed before, but I mean, damn, this dude was interviewed during a movie, a documentary. So that even went a whole lot even better than I thought that it even would. So, but yeah, man, this whole podcasting thing, man, I think you like what you got lined up is gonna be very interesting, man. And listen to me, man. I'll be taking all day to put it out, man, because I need to hear this, because this is gonna be interesting, y'all. I'm telling y'all, this next 15 minutes of fame is going to be very, very interesting, man. Very interesting.
Well, I think the the easiest thing for me with 15 minutes of fame is that, you know what I'm saying, like I don't do video with the
Mhm.
podcast. So, you know what I'm saying, like with that, it just strictly, you know, record, edit, boom, you know what I'm saying, and then I'm posting it right up. With this one, it's a little different because you know what I'm saying. I'm still trying to get used to, you know what I'm saying. Like we do a live. Well, when we first started, it was, you know what I'm saying, getting recorded, edited, posted to YouTube, and then recorded, edited, you know what I'm saying, posted to Anchor. So now it's just only thing I have to do is basically we've been going live. So now the thing I got to do is just same thing, record, you know what I'm saying, edit, and then go straight to Anchor. So I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where I'm, you know, I was off for a minute. I'm getting back in my groove, trying to get that same, you know what I'm saying, trying to get that same work ethic back, man. I think that once I got through with already home, I kind of lost a little bit of that hustle, that grind. So slowly but
Mhm.
surely, since I've been, you know what I'm saying, doing this pod with you, I've been getting that back and getting back into that mindset, that mode of just, you know what I'm saying, making sure that I'm doing the due diligence to, you know what I'm saying, watch the projects that we'll be doing the podcast on and making sure that I'm taking notes on certain things, you know what I'm saying, just getting back into that process more, you know what I'm saying, for lack of a better word. But it's getting there, man. You know what I'm saying? It's getting there. I've been gathering some new equipment and everything. And, all I got left is to get this. I'm trying to get my laptop back. Once I get my laptop back, all of this should be 1,000 times easier. But you know what I'm saying? I'm working with so many different pieces of equipment right now. It's just, you know, it's a little bit of a hassle, but it's a great learning experience.
Oh yeah. And see what that says is you could do more with less. You know what I'm saying? Like, and see, and that's and that
Yeah,
that right there. Like when you
yeah,
listen to a lot of dudes that's like rappers and stuff, like when they first started, it's like a lot of the underground stuff. When they was record like Drake said, you weren't with
hmm,
me when I was recording in the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Like when you listen to like a
facts.
lot of that early stuff of some of these other rappers and stuff, everything sounded so different because that hunger was there and you're working with a lot less. And then it's like
Yeah,
sometimes like something E had brought up, he was talking about, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying, my brother Siege is the engineer and I got this dude to do this. And I'm like, shit, but I'm the engineer, I'm the editor, I'm everything. It's like I wouldn't even know how to act, dude. Like if this podcast took another level and it's just like, yo, like we doing it this way. You know what I'm saying? We got these dudes that's gonna record it, edit, and timestamp it and all that stuff.
no,
I
that
ain't gonna
should
know
have
how
been
to
so
act,
much easier.
bro.
Yeah, that should have been so
But
much easier, bro. If all I gotta do is just show up and record, I'm telling you that
what
I'm out of here. I'm
I'm
out of
telling you,
here, bro. I'm out of
well,
here.
I
So I
wouldn't know.
mean, I understand why, you know what I'm saying, like why people go to, studios and why they try to create a team and everything around it. Because that's initially what I was trying to do when I had started already home. Like I was trying to hit up people and asking them did they want to, be interns. Like, did you want to engineer for a podcast or would you like to do, digital work for a podcast? And of course, at the time we couldn't pay them for it, but I was just trying to tell them like, yo, the more that we work together and the more that we build this, team, like it's gonna be easier for us to get to certain places and do certain things and start making money. But of course, you know what I'm saying, people want stuff that's tangible and they don't want to see the dream until it's actually, what I'm saying, reality. So it didn't kind of work out like I wanted it to. But the good thing about it is, what I'm saying, that I kind of learned how to edit everything myself. I kind of learned how to, you know, work on the engineering part, and I taught myself how to do the graphic work and create graphics, and I taught myself all these different situations. Like I learned about audio software, and then I'm learning about StreamYard as we going along, learning about Anchor, and I'm finding all these different platforms and softwares to use to, what I'm saying, to create podcasts and, distribute podcasts, to edit podcasts. So yeah, man, it's like I said, man, it's been a long trip, but it's been worth it. You know what I'm saying? So I really ain't got too many complaints, man.
Yes, sir, man. Same here, man. Same here. But man, we go we're gonna get into it, man. This podcast, like to elaborate on more what you were saying when you said that it was gonna be fun. Like you didn't like
Yeah,
you was meaning like yo, like when we get in front of this and we start doing this, it's just like it's hard to explain to people who don't do it. You know what I'm saying? And because like once they see what
well,
the subject
I
matter.
I can tell you a little bit about what I meant, right? Like when I said that it's gonna be a fun podcast, the reason I said that was because um there's not too many times we get to do podcasts on like certain documentaries, right? So when we did Outcry was already out. That was something
Hmm.
that had, you know what I'm saying, that we had to actually go back and watch. Um, with this particular documentary, this was one that, you know what I'm saying, we've been following since it came out. So this is like fresh in our minds. This is fairly new. You know what I'm saying? We kind of took everything that we knew beforehand and then applied it to what we've been seeing and learning since these episodes have been coming out. And so for me, it was like, yo, this is going to be a chance to really dig into something and talk about something that's important to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Something serious and really, you know what I'm saying, get some information out there, or at least, really get something out there that'll help this documentary be seen and really see, you know what I'm saying, like the kind of people that's involved in these situations. So that's what I, you know what I'm saying, meant when I said that it's going to be fun, not necessarily the content or the theme of what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Because this is definitely a deep subject, man.
Hmm.
It's a thing that's there's a lot of it's it's a problem, and it's not an American problem. It's a world problem. Um,
Yeah.
this thing that we're doing today, and for the people, we're doing Allen versus Farrow. Um, this is the documentary about the creep Woody Allen. This is my
Hmm.
thing with Woody Allen, man. Like, it was something like he like 79 films or some type of shit like that. He written and directed and all that type of stuff. And it's hard for me to
72.
critic. The 72. It's hard for me to
Yeah.
say like this is my thing. I'm one of those type people because there's you can say it's hard to judge something if you never seen it, right? But at the same time, I feel like
Hmm.
if something in my eyes, if something in my eyes is great, I'm gonna stumble across it somehow. I haven't stumbled across
Right.
any of this dude's movies. You know what I'm saying? So for people
I
to
don't,
say like
I don't know if you
not,
haven't seen you might have seen one of his movies, bro.
I don't know, dude. I don't like when they were showing like this like they was flipping through the ones and all of this stuff, and they're just like, yo, like I haven't seen any of these joints, and like everybody's calling him this
Yeah.
genius and stuff because he was like really like the dude that started doing stuff before like a lot of people just started doing like a couple of years ago, maybe like in the last like 2 decades. It wasn't a lot of people who
Hmm.
wrote it, directed it, and starred in it. So, do you want to give him a little
Right.
credit there? Whatever. But as far as
Hmm.
when you start seeing, like, I remember, like, okay, before we get there a little bit. But so I got a story to tell, right? So Mia Farrow,
Yeah.
right? Now, the last
Hmm.
time I personally seen her was The Omen, the one that came out, I think 2006. She was the
Hmm.
nanny lady of Damon, and I didn't know who she was. I just seen this old lady or whatever. And then once I started watching this, I was like, "Yo, that's the lady from The Omen. That's where I know her from, right?" But
Yeah.
now, so check this out. So So story time, right? So back when I was in high school, I worked with a dude. When I worked at Wendy's, and like he was right up my alley, man. Like he loved horror films. We used to go to work, and we would, I'll tell him about this film. He'll tell me about that film, and so we got on the subject he got on the subject of Rosemary's Baby. He was like, dude, this is the scariest movie I've ever seen. You know, so I'm like, man, it can't be that
Yeah.
good. He's like, man, I'm telling you, man, no. So, man, I watched this movie 3 hours. Okay, let's say the movie is 3 hours and 15 minutes, right? 3 hours of trash. Like trash. And then the whole moral of the story is she's carrying the devil's baby.
The
Like that was the
Antichrist,
scary thing about it. So I'm like, yo, I went back and told that dude, look, man, that movie was boring. I fell asleep on that shit like 3 times. I even tried to watch it again as an adult, and I was like, yo, I don't get it. Come to find out, it's Mia Farrow. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
I didn't know that was her. But it's as far as like them, like, cause see, obviously, like it showed us in the thing that she did like 10, 12, 15 films with Woody Allen. Because like they was, there was a family, and like this is a way that she could do her work and all of this type stuff. And what was disappointing about it, and like we're gonna get into the fucked up stuff. I just wanted to start a little light, and then we'll get into it.
I think we're on a good foot.
And I was very disappointed of how he shut her livelihood down. I thought that was bullshit, because it was like, for her to be doing the things that she was doing, like, dude, like she was a great Samaritan. Like she didn't show any type of, she adopted white kids, black kids, Vietnamese kids. I don't know what all of them were, Asian descent, all this type stuff. Like, and then this is the thing. She didn't just take, I don't like to say the word normal, but like she took kids with disformity, she took kids with a disability, let's say that. So a lot of people don't understand like what it's like raising a child, with a disability. Like I have a child that, considered to have a disability. And like I don't think people would choose that.
In a way, she was like a safe haven.
Yeah. And like some people criticize those people for adopting these kids like out of these countries. Like I know some people get on Charlize Theron about her adopting like black kids and stuff, but it's just like I feel like if they're gonna give them a better home than the position that they were in, like I think it's fair game. But I'm gonna shut up. But I just think that to railroad a good woman like this, like that he did, that was just a huge disservice to humanity, man.
Man, listen, my initial, well, I'm not gonna say my initial thoughts, but my surface thoughts on watching this was, kind of just what I've already heard, previously, that, he married one of his adopted daughters, and then, that was really pretty much all I've heard about Woody Allen. And then, of course, that the whole him being a pedophile thing. But it was always based around him marrying his adopted daughter. I never knew about this situation with his daughter Dylan. Now, the crazy thing for me, right, was that watching this, I kind of learned a lot. And to be honest with you, like I'm not gonna say that like there's any doubt in my mind that he didn't do it. But like, listen, dude did this. Dude is guilty. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
like there were so many things that they brought up in this documentary, and I know like a lot of people when they listen or they watch documentaries or they would listen to a podcast that would talk about something like this. Initially, the theme of it, right, the plot of it, or whatever you want to call it. I say theme, but you know what I'm saying, is to make whoever that, you know what I'm saying, whoever is the focus point, usually it's to make them look like the bad guy, or it's to make them look like the good guy. Like there's a motive for it, right? Whatever that motive was, which to me seemed as if they were trying to make him look guilty. I don't see where you could look at that and watch that and say, nah, he's not guilty. Even in like when he would talk about the memoirs, um, you know what I'm saying, in the last episode where, you know, they talked about how his daughter Dylan had wrote the letter, the open letter, and then it got put up on the New York Times blog. The first thing he did was he went right back to attacking Mia Farrow.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so weird that he did that, like, you know what I'm saying? And she brought up a great point. She said, well, you know what I'm saying, how could you attack her at the time she was only 7? So, you know, he understood how that would look at towards him. So his only thing was to say that, you know, Mia Farrow was a bad mother and all this other stuff. When it's clear that she wasn't. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of see how her children were responding to her in the videos and everything else. Like they weren't really standoffish or anything like that. They didn't really, you know what I'm saying? Like it just seemed that they were in a happy mood. And of course we only seen, you know, like maybe a couple minutes of of 1 or 2 videotapes. But usually, you know what I'm saying, it'll be some type of evidence to show that you know, they really weren't into it with her. But one thing that stuck out to me about this whole thing, right, was I believe it was in the first episode they were talking about how she had met Woody Allen and they had just started getting together, and they were talking about the relationship or whatever, and he said he didn't want to marry her. That was one of the things that stuck out, but you know, she was explaining to him that she wanted a family and stuff like that. So he was like, okay, we could have a family, but I'm going to be over here and you can raise the family over here. So that was one thing that always seemed weird to me. And then there was I want to say it was the same conversation, but it was something else that he said, like that they don't call me dad, they call me Woody or something, like basically he just was like, I don't want them calling me dad. He didn't sign any of the birth certificates. Like it was just weird that he would be this distant and this, you know, this so standoffish towards his children. And that's the thing, like that was always odd to me in these 4 episodes, like how, you know, certain kids would be towards him, or you know, certain kids wouldn't. You didn't really hear about certain kids' relationship with him, but I know Moses was the one that they were saying that kind of looked up to him, like, you know, the most. And of course he would, because you know that's his dad. But they also talked about the kind of the relationship he had with the children she had from the was that Pervin? I think that was dude's
Her
name.
first husband.
Yeah, her first husband. So, well, her only husband for real, because she only got
Only
married
husband,
once.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like dude ain't married her. So it was like it was kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying, to hear about that. And then um another thing was that, you know, she had mentioned that it was like some weird activity going on in like the first or second episode. I think it was the first, but she had mentioned like it was some weird activity going on. Like she had mentioned him, you know, on his knees with his head in her lap, and you know what I'm saying, she walked in and she was like, "Yo, basically she was like, what the fuck are you doing?" You know what I'm saying? Like that's not appropriate. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't let you do that. And that's initially what caused. I think that's initially what kind of caused that rift between him and her, and what kind of made him have that malice against her, because he um when they were playing his audiobook, he was mentioning how, Dylan was the special one, and that was the one that he loved the most, and he had that special relationship with her, and blah 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 blah. And he just was, so you could tell, like, she was saying that he was spending so much time with her, and he would treat her different than he treated everybody else. So it just seemed as if, like, that was a red flag for me. Let me say that. But I'll go ahead and let you go. You know what I'm saying? And on to the next one.
That was a red flag, and what caught me off guard was because, see, the thing is, I was hearing things about Woody Allen, through like the Joe Budden podcast, or Dan Levitard. He talked about it on his podcast. So, and they were saying that he married his daughter. So I'm like waiting to see, like, because I didn't know that it ended up being another one. And the weird thing was, he had this special bond with Dylan, but he married with Sonya, and like they made it seem like
Sonya, yep.
He didn't. It was like, I wonder, was that a bait and switch? Because he showed Dylan all the attention, but was he grooming Song Yi behind the scenes and just nobody noticed it? You know what I'm saying? And I thought that
because they talked about how standoffish she was in public.
Yeah. And so what was striking to me, like, okay, right, in the 4th episode, I know Dylan don't like this, but she was saying she was tired of hearing people say separating the work from the person, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons why I personally, even though he got some joints out here, and honestly, like, if everybody take all of that out, nobody, dude, I still haven't thought of a person that want to see this dude in the verses. But the reason why I stopped listening to R. Kelly music was because he put his work in the nasty shit that he was doing.
Yep.
Woody Allen did the same shit. And like, they kept referencing the Manhattan movie, in which I get it. It was a great movie to reference. The fact of, like, they even had like proofwritten stuff where he started out, oh, she's 22, and then he dropped it to 21, and then he was like, oh, well, maybe she's 16, and then he settled in on 17, and it was just like, you 30-something years old, and you got a whole movie out here about you being in a relationship with a 17-year-old, but you telling her to, hey, I want you to do your own thing. I want you to, he's telling her to see other people and all of this stuff, but they got this relationship going, and like, he tried to normalize it, using his art. And like, Manhattan, from what this made it seemed like Manhattan won like a lot of awards and shit. So it's like, he's getting praised, but it's like, when you look at the work, it's like, y'all, like, this dude is making it normal for a 30-something-year-old man to be in a relationship with a 17-year-old girl. So it wasn't the only time that he done it, but like, Manhattan was the one that they kept referencing. And then when you think about Song Yi, her school was down the street from where he stayed, and Song Yi started, and they had, dude, the investigative reporting on this was on point, dude. They talked to the maid who cleaned up the bed, and they was like, yo, it used to be condom wrappers, and like Song Yi would come in, and then Sonya would leave, and it was condom wrappers, condoms everywhere, and semen all over the bed, and all this type stuff. Because he tried to say that he didn't start messing with her till she was in college, till she was like 20, 21 or something like that. But like the maid was like, nah, like he was fucking this girl when she was in high school, when she was 17 years old. And it's just like,
right.
That, like I can't even though, like I said, I don't know much about his work. I mean, look, maybe you're right. Maybe I seen something and just had no idea, but like it wasn't anything that was memorable for me to be like, yo, like that's one of my favorite movies. And it was really, to me, like it was I was looking at this like, because I didn't know. I mean, like everything was told to me. Like I got secondhand information. Like I said, I've heard it on 2 different podcasts, and I didn't really know much about the situation. But what was sad to me was when, and I think it was 93. In 93, this dude had ended up being, acquitted for what he done or whatever. And
listen,
he
didn't get acquitted. Remember, they never took it
but
to trial.
Yeah, they never took it to trial
because
Mako thought that Dylan been through enough, and it was no need to put this girl through this anymore. And there was no social media back then. Yes, I know that, but it was just like, for the Academy, and there's some shit, like if you was a sex offender, right? You wouldn't make jokes about, like, standing by a school zone or some shit, right? Because when you're a sex offender, you're supposed to be so many feet away from a school, right?
If you was Woody Allen, you would.
Okay. This dude went, I think it was the 2001, I believe, Academy Awards, went on there and made a joke about, yo, I thought that when they called me because they was taking my Academy Awards away from me. Yeah. And people started I'm like, yo, y'all so fun. Like, and I know it was a lot of actors and actresses that we love that was probably in that room. Yo, you laughed at that.
I think that we've seen this on multiple occasions, right? Probably one of the biggest examples was of the Harvey Weinstein situation. You had all these actresses come out and tell their story, and at the time, of course, their alleged stories, and you kind of was thinking in your head, like in the back of your head, you kind of, especially like when they would show pictures of them and shit like that, you look at them, you be like, yeah, I can see it. You know what I mean? Like he seems like he's one of those like power hungry type dudes. Like I can see it. And so, you had so many different people in Hollywood and then in other entertainment industries kind of supporting Weinstein, right? The same way that you had all these people supporting Woody Allen. With Woody Allen, like what I think, so we have to really remember is like this dude was a Hollywood giant. You know what I'm saying? Like he was one of the, heralded as one of the greatest writers, heralded as one of the greatest producers. And so when we're talking about this guy, like you got to realize, like, for him to keep creating these movies and the Academy keeps giving him all of these nominations, all of these wins. Like, let me see. Dude has, they don't even show it. Oh yeah, they do. Dude has 226 nominations and 150 40 wins, 4 of them being Oscars. So that just goes to show you just the type of image he held. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when, you know what I'm saying, like, you think about the early 90s, right? We talking about Knicks games, and you know, he on the front row at Knicks games, and people walking up to him, and you know what I'm saying, talking about how much they love him. You know what I'm saying? We heard when the writer for the New York Times just talked about how he looked at Woody Allen as a hero. You know what I'm saying, in the days, and he would be specifically writing. He got into entertainment writing and started writing about how great Woody Allen was, and he would talk. You know, he would always criticize his movies, but give them great ratings. And I mean, like, dude was a giant, and then it showed how much influence he had, how much power he had when these accusations come out, because then it's like the newspapers are not giving Mia Farrow or Dylan Farrow the benefit of the doubt. They're like, yo, you know, saying accusations against Woody Allen, and you know, headlines are saying like, you know, Mia Farrow scorned, and you know, jilted lover. I mean, like, they are really and he's not even doing this. This is just the newspapers. The newspapers are making her seem as if, you know, she's pissed off because they're not together anymore, and you know, they broke up. You know what I'm saying? And now that she's trying to coach Dylan into saying these things, and then they go into, and to me, this was the best part of the documentary. You said it, like, when they went to investigative journalism, this is top notch. So they talk about the Yale New Haven institution, right? And then they take Dylan there, and then they give her the evaluation and everything else. And then it was, I think it was the district attorney who said that, who gave the order to do it. So the district attorney, yeah, it was district attorney. He gives them the order to go to Yale New Haven, evaluate Dylan Farrow, right? They do the evaluation, and it's John, I think his name was Leventhal, and then it was he had two women up under him that was doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they do the evaluation, get the evaluation back, and in the evaluation it says that Woody Allen didn't do it. Now, how do you just type that into an evaluation? Like, an evaluation is not an investigation. An evaluation is basically trying to get evidence to see whether or not, you know, you should go forward with this investigation, see if there's any type of evidence that would basically either go against or for your claim. So not only do they do the evaluation, but they call Mia Farrow, and then they call Woody Allen, who the investigation is against. He's not even supposed to know about this. They didn't go to the DA first. I don't even think they went to the DA. They went straight to Woody Allen, and then they let him announce the results. So that just goes to show you just how much influence and power that this dude has. The fact that they didn't even follow proper procedure. And then not only did they give him the information when he wasn't even supposed to know that this was going on, the Leventhal dude tells the two ladies up under him and the rest of the staff to destroy all your notes.
Nuts.
And that's evidence. That's all evidence. So the only thing that stands is this basically this evaluation. You don't have any notes to go off of. You don't have any kind of contact with any of these people. Leventhal won't talk to anybody. So it's just like, how do you expect somebody who can who can reach that type of power and get, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you expect him to really look like a menace, like a monster, when you can't even get people to properly do their job for a child? Knowing what the allegations are, knowing what was said about him, that's not something that, you know what I'm saying, you play with. Like, to me, I feel like if you really want to make Mia Farrow look like a bad mother, if you really want to make her, like he said, you know, she's an abuser and she's coaching their daughter, then basically wouldn't you go through with everything to prove that you didn't do anything, you know what I'm saying, wrong, to prove that you're not guilty? So when everything is done and said, then you can say, see, look, I told y'all, she's still mad that we not together. See, look, she even got my daughter saying all this crazy shit. But that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? None of this happened. Instead, you got the newspapers going on the campaign. You got the psych evaluation people on your side, and now it's like, what are we supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we make, how are they supposed to continue down this path to make dude seem like what he is?
And then like even like the real interviews that they showed, he was doing one and he was like, you know, they're trying to say I'm a pedophile. He was like, when do someone become a pedophile? Like he said, wouldn't you be a pedophile like in your 30s or some type of shit? He said, you know,
Yeah,
and it was
he
just
was
like,
saying like, wouldn't I have done it earlier? I had plenty of chances to do it. That shit was so crazy. I'm like, what the
yeah, and
fuck
it's
is this
like,
dude talking about?
yeah, and I'm like, yo, this dude is fucking nuts, and like it's like, you know, when somebody, it's that whole phrase of, you know, where's the last this go to the last place they expect you to go type of thing. And like he was saying things that, oh, but
Yeah,
nobody
he
will
was hiding
expect
in
me
plain
to say
sight.
this. Yeah, exactly. He was hiding in plain sight because he was. But the thing is, he's been doing it for years, and he was doing it through his movies. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
he's showing you, what he's
yeah,
doing, the same way he was trying to groom Dylan, the way he groomed Song Yi, he was trying to groom his consumers into saying that, yo, this is
yeah.
acceptable, this is fine. You remember the I can't remember if he was going for a Senate seat or I think he was going for mayor. He was going for re-election. This mayor in Alabama had sexual allegations against this
Mm-hmm.
young girl, and so they had this what do you call them, that like a panel of people from Alabama. It was on CNN and everything, my guy. And so they asked this guy about these allegations, and this is what this motherfucker said. He said, well, 30 years ago, we would have been proud to give our daughter an established man like that, at that age. And it's like, first of all, it's not 30 years ago, but at the same time, like, what kind of thinking is that? Like,
Right.
a father is like, oh, well, you know what? Yeah, my daughter's 15, but you know what? You're a mayor. Go ahead and go with him. Like it's just he was grooming his people in his film, and that's why he had so many people to come out and defend him, because then you had people he helped start some people's careers. And like, this is the
Yeah,
thing. You can be an Aaliyah. Well, not necessarily Aaliyah, but like R. Kelly put people on, right?
mm-hmm.
Now, you can thank R. Kelly, and you can be like, yo, I appreciate him giving me my start, him seeing my talent. But you know what? But within that same breath, but what he's doing or what he done is wrong. Like, I don't see nothing.
Yeah.
I don't see nothing wrong with that. If you call a spade a spade, you know what I'm saying? Whether you help me, whether you start my career or not, and then like, it was
I
great
see
to
what you did
start
there
seeing
too.
what I do. I don't
I
even
don't see
notice it.
nothing wrong.
Oh, hey, that shit just came out, but I ain't even look. I want to take the credit for it, man. I want to, but I ain't. Oh man, that was a good catch. That was a good catch. But yo, man, this dude, man, he's a fucking creep, man. Like this is the stuff
Yeah,
that make people don't want to, put their kids. Some people don't like to put their kids on the internet because of like just
right.
people that are creeps out here. But like you never expect the situation where and the saddest part about it, like, listen, I feel terrible for Dylan and what Dylan had to go through. I don't know if this is what Song Yu wants. Maybe it is. Who knows? But I really feel bad. I feel bad for all parties involved, except for Woody. But Mia Farrow
Right.
though, like she she can never get in a relationship with another man like that again because now she feels partly responsible for bringing Woody around and he sexually
Mm-hmm.
assaulted one of his daughters and just married her other daughter. So she don't even feel like she did say that like she has gone on dates with guys, but she was like, yo, I don't bring them home. Like, so like this woman is, I mean, God, what, like in her 70s now. And it's like she's never gonna, have the
Yeah,
comfort of having, a man in her life in that capacity because of what Woody Allen did. And that's sad, yo.
bro. That's not odd to you. Like the relationship that they had.
Yeah, that was odd. Even when she explained that thing where like they could see each other's they building and like they would do this light shit. You know what I'm saying? And before they bought the
Yeah,
house in Connecticut, like I was like, yo, like that's weird. But what also was weird was the fact that how much and how strongly he said that he didn't want to be around the kids. But it's like soon as he started being around the kids,
yeah.
it was just like he jumped in head first, dude.
It was so. It was so crazy to me. Like just listening, because like even when I like the first episode started and it started, they had Dylan talking or whatever. Like even when she was acknowledging them at first, she acknowledged them as Mia and Woody. She didn't acknowledge them as mom and dad. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, I felt like that was like weird off the gate because it didn't seem as if that was their daughter. And
Mm-hmm.
then like as they what I'm saying, continue to tell the story and give us more information, you start to realize, well, I started to realize like, oh, that's their child. Like I thought that she was just somebody that, was writing about him or something like that. I didn't know like that was their child. So like even even seeing, what I'm saying, like just the relate, like you said, just the relationship she had with the kids, like her constantly adopting kids, bringing kids in the house, and them having the family that they had, which to me I thought was dope because like you said, she was giving these kids an opportunity to live in a, what I'm saying, a place that they can get love and care, and they don't have to live in the situations that they were living in before. You know what I'm saying? Like she really created a safe haven for these kids. And my thing was that part was okay. She always spent time with the kids, showed the kids love, everything like that. That part was okay. What struck me as odd was like she went from this relationship with a guy who was always around, who showed her love and was always around the kids, to a relationship of a dude that was never around the kids. Um, they were barely together. You would only see them when it was time to shoot a movie, or you would only see them when it was, when they walk on the red carpet or anything like that. Like it didn't seem as if they were a couple, or it didn't seem as if they were in a relationship. And then even more, like it seemed like for the most part of this documentary, she was just a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was just to me, that relationship dynamic that they had was so odd because it was like 1 minute he's not around, and then next minute he's popping up somewhat, but when he does pop up, it's like he's showing all of his attention to Dylan. Or, every now and then he'll be, sitting around Moses. But you never seen him around Sunyi or any of the kids before they got together from the Previn guy. So it was like, I don't know, man. For me, it was just so weird to see that kind of dynamic because it's just like, how do you get with this chick, right? You give her all these opportunities. You basically make her your girl and everything else. You know what I'm saying? You say you don't want to marry her, which that's not an odd thing. A lot of people don't want to get married. But she talking about how she want to have a child, and you like, yeah, I have a kid with you, but I mean, like, I ain't gonna take care of that motherfucker. It's just like that didn't ring nothing off in her. Like that's the thing that blew my mind. I'm like, that didn't ring nothing off in your head. Like he don't even want to have a kid with you. Like he don't even want kids with you. He just want to be with you. Like he's looking at it like shit. You can go. You obviously going out to get kids. Go get you one. So now that what I'm saying, she really wants to have one of her own, and then she got this. And I think even her love for Woody Allen wasn't really love. It was just more so admiration. Like, she was with, Woody Allen, big, one of the most important figures of New York at the time. So like dude said, it was, when you talk about New York at the time, it was the Statue of Liberty, and then it was Woody Allen. I'm saying? Woody Allen was at one point bigger than the Yankees, bigger than the Knicks. So it's like, how do you go about dealing with somebody like this to where, y'all really not on the same level? I'm saying? As far as Hollywood goes, like he's really tiers above you, but at the same time, you still Mia Farrow. I'm saying? You still are a grade actress. I'm saying? You in that VIP lane as far as actresses go and actors go. And then, you put them together and it's like an early power couple or whatever, but it's like, to me, man, it was just so odd to see them paired up and then to hear how, he wanted to be so distant from them. Because it's like, I mean, I get it, with their line of work, if that was, if it was just because he was working, that's cool. But like, this is something that he talked to her about and was like, yo, I don't want to raise the kids. I really don't want to be in the same house as the kids. I really don't even want them calling me dad. Like, how do you connect with somebody like that? Like, that shit just blew my mind, man. And just to even hear that dynamic, that shit was just so weird, bro.
No, what's weird is like Ronan is actually his biological son, and
yeah,
he told him like, yo, I will take care of you financially. I will, take care of your school, all this type stuff. If you just help me shut down this Dylan and your mom stuff. It is just like, and look, Ronan is a real one. Like, for like, yo, I'll make my own way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe my sister, I believe my mom, and I'm just ain't gonna fuck with you. And like, he went all the way in and like, it started a journalism career off of basically just posting his sister's. I mean, like, no, that's when his career like took off, when he posted, it's being in support of his sister. And the thing with Dylan, man, that we haven't stressed yet on this podcast was the fact of when they went back, because they made sure they referenced it in the fourth part, where her story was consistent when she was 7. This girl, like, every time it was the same thing with I think 3. It was like 3 or 4 different people. She recited it was the same thing.
And that was just in Connecticut.
Yeah, because when they got to New York was like they shut that one black dude down. Like that dude got fired and everything, but they ended up giving
Man,
him his
that shit
job
was
back.
crazy.
Yeah, like the power
Yeah.
of this dude, and like I said, like he shut down Mia Farrow. Like she couldn't even get no work anywhere, and she could only do work in like Sweden. You know what I'm
But
saying? Like,
he told excuse
yeah,
me.
he
He
told
told
her
her
on the
that though.
phone.
He said, "I'm gonna make sure you never get a job here again." Yeah, like, and then that was so crazy. Like, just to hear the way he talked on the phone, and I guess he was taping the conversations, or she was taping the conversations, or whatever.
They
And
both was taping.
okay, and then it was funny because you could tell that him taping the conversations, he was doing everything in his power um not to make himself look guilty, basically. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like I mean, like he would speak in short sentences. Uh he would only say certain things. He never really talked to her like he would before that situation.
Hmm.
Because remember, the first time she caught him doing it, and they talked about it, and this is when she was saying that, yo, I don't want you around her without somebody being around as well. And he was, he was really talking to her. And then once the allegations start happening, and once they start getting in the public and everything else, he just started getting calculated. He was like, she said, well, why are you doing this to me? Why are you making it seem like I'm a bad mother? I'm not a bad. She was like, I'm not a bad mother. You know that in your heart. And he was like, yo, once we get done with court, you know what I'm saying? You'll get your chance to prove it.
Prove it.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, this motherfucker is a fucking monster, bro. Like to be able to, and this is how I know that when you're in these situations, and you hear these women talk about how you know they're in these situations with men who would be like abusive, or men who are verbally abusive, or just like how they quote it now, toxic relationships. You just really start to see like just how manipulative. Damn, I was about to mess that up. I was about to mess that up. But you know what I'm saying? You really see how manipulative um that these people are. You
Hmm.
see that how far these people will go to make themselves look innocent. You know what I'm saying? To make the other person look crazy, to make the other person seem as if, oh, they just making this up, or oh, they're trying to coach such and such to make me look like, what I'm saying, this, or so like they, just the fact that really, and it's crazy because he didn't even have to do it. It
Yeah.
was it was just other people doing it for him. It's
And
that shit was just wild, bro.
the crazy part was like his little countersuit where he tried to like take custody of only the three he liked. You know what I'm saying? Like he only wanted Dylan and Moses, and
Yeah,
I think it was Ronan because I think Ronan is
and
his
Satchel.
Satchel.
Nope.
So it's like,
Well, is
was
Satchel
it?
is that the is Satchel is Roman? I think he changed his name to Roman.
Oh, okay. So it's like, but then what fucked him up? And dude, I guarantee you, if Mia Farrow wasn't smart enough to just, she just recorded a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of home footage. And
Mm-hmm.
she showed the footage of her asking Dylan, like what happened.
Yeah.
And that there, like if she didn't have that, I guarantee you they would have gave Woody Allen those damn three kids.
Oh my.
And
Okay.
that there,
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up. Go ahead.
because I think that is what when that judge heard that, he was like, yo, this motherfucker is
Mm-hmm.
sick. And he don't
Yeah.
need to be anywhere near these kids. And
Mm-hmm.
like and then like I think the only one was like you said, Satchel, but it was supervised visits, you know,
Yep.
because they were just
Yep.
like, we don't think that you need to be around any kids. And
Yep.
if you are, we need to, watch over you and supervise this thing. And this is, he's a fucking creep, man. Like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
like this dude is he's just a fucking creep. Like, he even looks like one. To be honest with you, I ain't even gonna front. I ain't gonna hold you. He looks like a fucking creep. Like, some of these people just gotta look,
Mm-hmm.
man. He got it. He got it. I don't care how funny people think he is. Okay, I've never written a screenplay. Okay, and it's difficult. Like, I tried. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna say I'm done, but it's just like it's a very difficult thing to do. But like I say, yo, ain't none of his movies move me, man. I'm sorry. Like, I can't give him this high praise when it's nothing that it's now that it's nothing that, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, man. This dude's a creep. But you said I brought up a good point. What you had on it?
So the videotapes, right? The home videos where she had Dylan basically saying what happened, and the same story that Dylan, told the New Haven Institute and the people in New York, the child services people in New York. Remember when Mako was basically saying that he wasn't sure if they should go along with the case because he didn't want to put Dylan through that, and he didn't know if she would even testify, or she would even cooperate with, being on the stand.
Mm-hmm.
My question was, why didn't they just use the tapes? You already used them in the custody court.
Mm-hmm.
Why not use them use them as evidence for that trial? Because I feel like if they had the tapes, that was, to me, and I'm not sure exactly how that would work in the court, but to me, I just felt like that was more than enough evidence for them to use to say, okay, we can't really get her to testify, but this is what we have on tape. This is what she says, and we can go off of that. And then when they had the people examine it, they all said it like, no, she don't seem to be. There's no evidence of coercion. It's not like she's being told what to do or she's being coached into what to do. If anything, she's making maneuvers of stuff that happened. Just like the lady from New York when she was talking about when they were asking her, she was doing certain gestures and using certain terms and things like that a 7-year-old shouldn't know about. You know what I'm saying? That a 7-year-old would have no idea of. And so it was just like you had it. To me, I feel like they had enough evidence to be able to not have her on the stand, but be able to have something against him and charge him with. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me,
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the most disappointing part of this documentary, was the fact that he didn't go through with it and charge Woody Allen. And when you just, to me, I felt like they just had so much evidence, and they didn't even take that shot. I feel like that shot had to be taken.
Yeah, and I get why they didn't. I don't think I don't put it on Mako because when he explained what happened when he had her in the room, and he said and he had a female, I don't know if she was an officer or what she was, but he was asking her about everything, and she went along with it. As soon as he asked the question about Woody, like, silence. So he
Right.
explained like why he ended up doing it and why he didn't want to put her on the stand. And I get what you're saying, why they didn't use those tapes. But I think that Woody,
in place of her testimony, yeah.
I think that Woody lawyers would have found a way to, you know what I'm saying? Because he had some powerful lawyers. He had a lot of powerful people behind him. And they would have found a way to be like, yo, when have we ever used a home video where the mom is the one doing the questioning. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
that would have went well in the court. Like, I see what you're saying, but I think that those high priced lawyers would have found a way to throw that type of shit out. But
Right.
what also sucks, I don't know how much more you got, but what also sucks is when that last movie he did, I think it was 2018, I think, and it wasn't
Yeah.
released here, but it was only released overseas.
No, it was
20,
last year.
it was last year. 22 million, my guy. This dude movie made 22 million
Internationally.
and internationally and didn't make it to the United States. This is nuts, man. Nuts.
But see, I I looked at that as I looked at that as progress, right? That's that lets you know how far we've come when it comes to situations like these. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when somebody has, and I'm trying to be careful the way I put this because I think when somebody has those allegations, right, and in the court of law, even they've seen this evidence and they said that you know you don't need to be around your kids. To
Mm-hmm.
me, that's more than enough to be able to say this guy should not be supported. Because
Mm-hmm.
if we go into court over custody and you started this and you lost, it's a reason you lost.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You tried to make
Yeah.
you tried to bank on me and Farrow being crazy or me and Farrow being abusive or whatever, and that was what you kept trying to make the focus instead of and that's what everybody else went with as well. But the real focus was you incestually molesting your child.
And
You know what I'm
grooming.
saying? Like that's yeah, and then you groomed another one of your children. So I mean, it's just it's so wild. You know what I'm saying? Like and like I said, it was so many early signs. Like you know, me and Farrow seen when, like I said, the whole face in the lap situation. Just like later on down the line, the maid seen it. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't find her, and they somewhere up in the attic. Um, also the same way when Mia came over and seen the pictures of Sun Yi. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And it was just like at this point, it's like you, you gotta, bro. I don't know, man. Just me as a parent. And I know, what I'm saying, like a lot of people say, well, you can't really say that because you don't know what you would do in that situation. I'm telling you what I would do in that situation. Me personally, I'd have stumped the mud hole in Woody Allen's ass. Not gonna lie to you. I don't give a fuck if we do weight the same. I know him and me and Farrow probably the same height, same weight. Good. I'm about to give you these motherfucking hands. Because one thing you won't be doing is putting my children in danger. As much as she loves them kids, as much as she did for them kids and everything else, it's I don't know, man. It's just certain things you have to do to ensure the safety of your children. And I feel like I know because at the end of it, she had asked Dylan like, "Yo, are you mad at me? You know what I'm saying for not
Right.
possibly stopping the situation before something even happened." And it's like I get it, you know what I'm saying? They famous and they got stuff that they doing, blah, 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 whatever. And you try to do your best to be there, but it's like you kind of knew what all this shit was about before it even got there. And I'm not gonna lie, if my daughter tell me, yo, such and such did that, hey, I got to suit up and I got to go tear this motherfucker apart real quick. I'm sorry. I mean, if I go to jail, I went to jail for a reason, but I got to tear this motherfucker apart. He got to know you'll never do this shit again. And I feel like that's some shit that had to be done. I mean, she should have to me, I feel like she should have been went to the authorities or the police or whoever and did something about that. She should have been went to court and said, hey, you know, this is what happened. You know, I don't give a fuck what the situation is. You got to do something. You know what I'm saying? For that, I feel so, bro, I feel so sorry for her, bro, to be able to have to go that long knowing that that this motherfucker really violated you and there was nothing that you could do about it at the time, right? Because you a child, you 7. But even then, you know, later on down the line, you know, you an adult, and as she's talking about it, her hands are shaking, her fucking teeth start chattering. Like, that's real fucking trauma. Just the fact that even you bringing it up, you know what I'm saying, you getting those same emotions, like when her husband talked about, you know, they were playing or whatever, and, you know, she get on her stomach and she just tensed up. It's like, God damn, like, yo, like this shit really ruined this woman's life. You know what I'm saying? She talked about how, well, when they showed when she was in high school, and, you know, she heard other girls talking about, you know, the same shit we all talked about in high school, you know, hormones raging. And she dumped her boyfriend because she knew that eventually, or she thought in her head eventually, he was going to want to do, you know what I'm saying, that. So for her to avoid that, she dumped him. And she was like, yo, I was only, you know, with him for 3 weeks. And it's like, yo, he ruined so much in her life that, you know, she wasn't even able to really even live a normal life. Like, she didn't even get to really enjoy the life of being a child of a star and, you know, being Mia Farrow's child. She didn't even get to enjoy that. You know what I'm saying? And just like it, you know, then have to turn around. Not only does your dad do that to you, but then like this nigga goes to marry your big sister. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot of shit to happen to somebody. And she even said it like, yo, I was lying in therapy. She wasn't even being honest in therapy because that shit was that deep. So it's like, man, that shit was heartbreaking, bro. I can't lie to you. That shit was heartbreaking.
It was nuts, man. I mean, nuts.
That shit
and then
crazy.
like the last thing I got personally is like the song Yee stuff. Like for her to be, I think it was a bus stop. I think, or so, yeah, I think her mom left her at a bus stop and told her she'll be back. Left her there at, I believe, 11. And
nah, I think it was younger than that.
Was it younger? It might have been younger than that. And it was just like, and then she was homeless for a while, just going around with these homeless people. And then, you know, Mia ended up adopting her. And it's just like, that's one of those things that I was saying earlier. Like, you feel like you're probably in debt to the person. And for you to turn on her in the situation that you was, you know what I'm saying, was left in. And I remember Mia saying she always was distant. Like she wanted to let her know, like, I'm here for you. Like she was like, when I would go do a movie, she said, I will only take her. You know, so she would know, like, right. I won't abandon you. And like for this person to go into the lengths that she went to show you I could be, you know, that mother that you can depend on that won't leave you the way your biological mother left you. And to just get brainwashed by Woody and just flip the script on her. And then, like, even when this stuff came back, when the Me Too movement came around, Song Yee put out a statement, you know, bashing me again. And it's just, you know, you remember, obviously you do, Eddie Murphy, when he said that, when he said, when I met you, you were butt naked and oh man, how the line go?
Oh, you talking about Fufu?
Yeah, Fufu. It's
Talking about
Eddie.
Fufu. He said he's going to get him an African bush chick. Yeah,
Yeah,
African bush
African
chick that
bullshit.
don't know nothing about nothing.
He
Yeah.
said, Eddie. That was so funny. But anyway, and he was just like, when I met
I
you,
want
you were
what's coming to
butt.
me.
He said, what
I
you
want
want?
half Eddie.
Half
That's my
of
shit.
that Eddie. And that shit was hilarious. But anyway, like I bring that up. I bring that up to say, like, yo, do you remember where you were? You know what I'm saying? And then like now, I got a taste of this life, and this dude now brainwashed you, and it's a terrible situation. But it
Yeah,
sucks that he never paid for his crimes, but he will pay for them bitches in hell.
definitely, man. Man. Just me personally, man. If you are listening to this and you have went through a similar situation, or you are currently going through a situation, I know that it's easier said than done. I know that you know there's obstacles and things and people that can get in the way of you getting help. But please do your best to get some help. Please do your best to reach out to somebody. I mean, I know it's a dangerous situation, and sometimes even reaching out for help can be dangerous. But you know it takes a lot of courage and bravery to get out, and it takes even more courage and bravery to you know deal with the situation and heal from the situation once you've gotten out of that. But if I can say anything, I know that it's not an easy thing. But if you can, even if you have to message me and say, hey, I need you to get my story out or whatever, feel free to. But please do your best. Try to get some help, because that's just not a situation anybody should be in. You know what I'm saying? That's not something that anybody should have to go through. When you got to deal with these type of people who, and I mean the reality of it is they are insecure people. They are inferior people. They don't have anything about themselves that they feel is good. So they somehow inflict abuse and damage on other people because they feel that way. And they really are the ones that need help. They really are the ones that need to be put through therapy and need to have people, to talk to and stuff like that, because, there's no telling why somebody is, abusing somebody or harassing somebody or sexually assaulting somebody. Maybe it happened to them a long time ago, or, maybe they've seen it or whatever, but what I'm saying? That shit comes from trauma in some sense. So, if you are going through that, you get yourself some help. You don't worry about that person, because that person may say that they love you and that person may say that they care for you, but if they really loved you and cared for you, you wouldn't be going through that. So I wanted to say that real quick. But yeah, man, follow me on, I'm sorry, wait. Snowfall, episode 6. Next episode, um, it'll be, is this the week that's Thursday?
Yes, we're recording this one on Thursday this week.
Okay. Okay, so cool. Thursday, man. Snowfall, episode 6. We get into it. Can't wait for it. It's gonna be a great one. Man, you know what I'm saying? This season has been giving us great. You know what I'm saying? That's all that they've been giving us is
Mm-hmm.
great. I have not been disappointed with the episode yet. So you know what I'm saying? Y'all stay tuned. Of course, make sure y'all hit us up Thursday. You need to hit me up. Follow me on Twitter at Scoots Bronson, Instagram Scoots Bronson _TV, YouTube is Scoots Bronson TV. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you need to know whenever we go live, so you can catch us live and interact with us during the show, make sure you hit that notification bell. Also, you can hit that subscribe button on the podcast if this is your first time listening. And if not, you know what I'm saying, thank you for your continued support. And last but not least, man, Viewers Anonymous Podcast Watch Group or the VA Podcast Watch Group on Facebook. Make sure you go there and join up. This is where you can get all the information on Viewers Anonymous. You can also get all the information on my podcast and S. Foster's other podcast as well. And that's just pretty much, man. That's our hub to go to. That's where the Viewers Anonymous community is. And you know what I'm saying, you can send in some requests, or you can, you know what I'm saying, tell us how much you like it, how much you don't like it. You can even request to be a guest on here too, man. So make sure you go there, add yourself in there, so you know you can get the first dibs on that joint.
Yes, sir, man. And you can follow me on s.foster8 on Instagram and Twitter. The Stolen Time Pie on Instagram, the Stolen Time Podcast on Facebook. If you want the visuals of my podcast, the Stolen Time Podcast, or the 28 Minutes or Less, all the visuals on YouTube at the Stolen Time Podcast Network. I just put out episode 40 of 28 Minutes or Less with the guy E. Carter. I appreciate him for jumping on. He's the host of the First Class Podcast and the co-host of the C Podcast. He came on. He had a bunch of football stories and other things about him getting in the magazine and starting in the podcast and the entrepreneurship, you know, beard cream, all that type stuff. A Stolen Time Podcast will be coming out this week. I got a guest. It's on the way. Also, shout out to Uncle Washington. He had some things done today. Hopefully, it went well. But you know, the podcasts are moving, man. So check out all the content that we putting out. And like he said, man, we coming to you this Thursday with episode 6 of Snowfall. Can't wait for that. I can't wait to watch it, man. We can't wait to watch it.
Man, that shit gonna be crazy, bro. I can't wait either, man. So yeah, man. Once again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. We definitely appreciate you guys. Till next episode, man. You know how they say it in Hollywood. It's kind of weird to say that now, but like they say in Hollywood, man, it's a wrap.
Cut.